Today on Northern Revolutions, by request, I'm going to delve deep into my Blue Rodeo collection. So stay tuned. Hey, violent community, welcome to Northern Revolutions. I'm Rob. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new. I've had a few requests lately. As any regular viewer of my channel knows, I'm a huge fan of Blue Rodeo, Canadian country rock institution. When I did my autographed albums video the other day, I mentioned I had a bunch of Blue Rodeo autographs, but I'd save that for another video. I received several requests to show you guys my Blue Rodeo collection. I have all their studio albums on CD. I'm not going to show those. I have everything that is available on vinyl. I will show that. I've got a few CDs I'm going to show you that are sort of different. And I'll show you some of the other assorted memorabilia that I've got. So sit back, relax, and be entertained. I'll buzz through the records sort of quickly. Not all of their catalog is available on vinyl. Most of the first half is, and most of the recent records, but there's a gap in the middle. Good period of their music actually is not available on vinyl. And I know some guys in the band, they'd like it to be on vinyl, but it's not up to them. It's up to Warner Canada. So we've got what we've got, and it's unlikely we're going to get more. But here we go, starting from the very beginning. This is 1987's Outskirts. I've talked about this record before. Absolutely phenomenal roots rock record. I think I even included it in my Perfect Albums video because I think it is. This record spawned two enormous hits that if you are not familiar with this band, go on YouTube and look for Blue Rodeo's Try or Rose Colored Glasses. That gives you a pretty good idea what this band is all about. The next one is something that occasionally pops up on eBay. It's a 2 LP. This is the promo. This is the Outskirts special. So the first disc is a scripted radio interview, and the second disc is a show that Blue Rodeo did on CFNY, which is a radio station recorded from the Diamond Club in Toronto. So this is great because this is the sort of the earliest live recording you'll get of the band. This is the Blue Rodeo Outskirts interview disc from June of '87. It's a scripted thing that the radio station would play. You give the script, ask the questions, the record plays the answers. The script is in here. This is not actually the same interview that's on the disc that I just showed you. This is the remastered version. In 2012, the first 5 albums of their catalog were remastered. I had hoped that they would continue that process, but they haven't. You'll notice that this says remix because this is the one album that Greg Keeler, this guy, one of the 2 frontmen and principal singer-songwriters, he went through and remixed the album. And if you can find this, it's vastly superior to the original. Even though I already said the original is perfect, this is more perfect. This is the second album. This is 1989's Diamond Mine. Fantastic album. I'm not going to go into each album or else this video would be 3 hours long. So Diamond Mine. This is a 2012 remaster of Diamond Mine. It's got the cover that matches the CD. I don't know why the record was black and the CD was white, so they updated the cover. This is also Gatefold, which the Gatefold 2 CD. This was a record store day release, red and blue vinyl. This is called Diamonds in the Rough, Demos and Other Stuff. This is a 6-song EP, a couple tracks from the Diamond Mine album, and then a couple others, an instrumental, a cover of Glenn Campbell's Galveston, a live version of Outskirts. So it's a little oddball 6-track EP. Their third album, 1990s Casino. Great song off here called Till I Am Myself Again. If you want to, again, look up something, look up that. This is the remastered version of the album. Fronts are the same on the original and the remaster. The covers are different. The one with the photo is the original. 1992's Lost Together. Amazing album. Lost Together is the song that they close every show with. Campfire sing-along classic. I don't know what else to say. This was the first North American issue of this, the 2012 remaster. There was an original German pressing from 92. That's the only Blue Rodeo disc I don't have. It's expensive if you can find it on Discogs. And the cover was different on it as well. The only vinyl issue of 5 Days in July. This is their most well-known album. Sarah McLachlan's on here. It's an incredible album that was recorded over 5 days in July. Amazing. I like to say it's their magnus opus. This is the only issue of this was the 2012 remaster. This is a 12-inch single I have for Girl in Green, which was from their album Nowhere to Hear, which came out after 5 days. That album was never issued on vinyl, but this 12-inch single was. It's got a remix on the other side that sucks, but I bought it because this is the only vinyl from the Nowhere to Hear era. I've shown this a couple times, and a couple people have begged me to sell it, and I never will. Days in Between, this is their album from 2000. Phenomenal record. If I'm on a desert island, I have to have it. Not widely available for sale. It wasn't in stores on vinyl. It was a sort of promo-only release. I also have a signed copy, which I'll show you in a few minutes. 2005's Are You Ready? Also was promo-only, I believe. This is a good one to have on CD because the CD actually has a couple more songs than what fits on the record. And there was also an iTunes song called Green Room, which isn't even included on the CD. So, well-known fact. Are You Ready? This is 2009, The Things We Left Behind. This is a double LP. They put this out when, it looked as if the album was dying. And I remember in the press releases for this, they had mentioned how bands like Radiohead was saying, the album is dead, singles are the way to go. And they said, well, we want to buck that trend and put out a double album on vinyl. 2009, this is pre the vinyl resurgence. So this is meant to be listened to as a sort of 4-act piece. Interesting record, not one of my favorites. Fantastic, but not one of my favorites. 2013's In Our Nature. I do not like this record. There's a couple songs that are okay. My issue with this is it was incredibly formulaic. I felt like every single song on here was songs I'd already heard before. It's like there's 11 songs in here, but it felt like there's only 3 repeating that were based off other songs. I just thought this was I love this band, but I thought this was a lackluster album at best. 2015's Live at Massey Hall, the only live album available on vinyl. There's another one called Just Like a Vacation that you can get on CD and Blue Road. This is fantastic. This is their, 2015 version of the band doing career-spanning hits at the legendary Massey Hall in Toronto. Fantastic live record. It's a double live. It's awesome. 2016's Thousand Arms, great record. Almost felt like a return to form from their, late 90s, early 2000s. Amazing record. Love it. The last record featuring my good friend Bob Egan, who retired after playing with his band for almost 20 years. So he actually told me before he told the band that he was retiring. Anyway, Thousand Arms. And the last one I have on vinyl is the current record, which is 2021's Many a Mile. It's fine. It's double. It's good, but it still feels very comfortable and kind of like I've heard everything on here before. Now, there are some Blue Rodeo 45s out there. I'm not going to show them, but I am going to show this one. This is actually the Hi-Fis. This was Jim Cuddy and Greg Keeler's band before Blue Rodeo. They lived in New York at the time and were trying to be a sort of new wave punk, I don't know, whatever. Ultimately, it didn't pan out for them. They moved back to Toronto and formed Blue Rodeo. But you can see there's two Keeler Cuddy songs on here. This is not the original from 1983 or 4, whenever this came out, because those are worth a fortune. This is a reissue that was done about 10 years ago, also worth a fortune because they're incredibly hard to find. But a pre-Blue Rodeo, Jim Cuddy, Greg Keeler 45 that's pretty scarce. I mentioned I'm not going to show the CD collection. If you want to see what all their studio albums are, you can look it up. But I do have a few CDs that I think are worth showing. I showed this in another video. I think it was my records that no one else has. A promo CD that they put out in conjunction with 5 Days in July called Days in America. It's a live EP from the 5 Days tour. Live at Massey Hall, which you've seen before. But the reason I'm showing you this is this is signed by everyone in the band. Every year in mid to late January for 20 some odd years, Blue Rodeo would play a Friday night and a Saturday night in Stratford, Ontario. It's just kind of a tradition. And in 2006, they recorded that show live off the floor and mixed it as the show was going on. And you could pre-order the CD so that as you were leaving the show, you could get the CD. It was like an instant live recording. So there's a Friday night and a Saturday, and they look like this. The only thing different is the date on it. I was at the Friday night show, which is this one, January 13th. Great quality soundboard recordings. Kind of hard to find. I happened to be backstage after that show, and most of the band signed it. More on the subject of albums that are signed. This is 2002's Palace of Gold. I got them to sign this backstage at one of the shows I was at. This is the US release. If you're going to buy Palace of Gold on CD, get the US release on Rounder Records, because there's 3 bonus tracks. They're live tracks. The Railroad, Bad Timing, and You're Everywhere. Those were recorded in 2002 at the Kitchener Center in the Square. I was at that show. So another reason I wanted this, because I was at that live show. I mentioned one album that's not on vinyl is called Nowhere to Hear. This is Nowhere to Hear, except this is a limited edition version of the album. It's called Nowhere to Hear. And then the second disc, From There to Here, the best of. This was a best of up to 1995 when this came out. So studio album on one disc and then a best of on the other side. These are hard to find. I've only actually ever seen this once in the store, and I bought it because I hadn't seen it before and didn't even know that it existed. And the last CD that I'm going to show you, I mentioned the 2012 remasters of the first 5 albums. You could get them in CD form in a box set. You can also get them individually. But if you bought the box set, you also got this, Blue Rodeo Odds and Ends. And it's just a series of 17 unreleased songs. There are some alternate versions of some songs, but it's mostly unreleased songs that you have never heard before. So worth finding the remaster CD box set. Okay, so I'll show you some more of the Blue Rodeo memorabilia that I've got. This has popped up in like my room tour and a couple other videos, and you always see it over my shoulder. This is a tour poster from the Small Miracles tour. I just bought this at the merch table at a show, and it's signed by Jim, Bob. You can barely see Glenn's signature there, and Basil signed it there. Next to that are some drumsticks. Now, these are used. You can sort of tell they're broken there. These belong to Glenn Milcham. who's pictured there. He's Blue Rodeo's drummer. I got these at one of those Stratford shows. It was the Friday night show in 2007. This is a photograph that I took of Bob Egan, their pedal steel player, my friend. This was for the release of their album Small Miracles in, I think, like 2010. I'd have to look it up. But what they did is the day that the album came out, they announced at like 8 o'clock in the morning that they would be doing a series of street corner buskings in Toronto. So I bagged off work that day, headed to Toronto, and I made it to 4 of the 5 stops. So this is just a photograph that I took of Bob, and I thought it was a great picture, so I had him sign it. He's got a copy of this too. I'll throw some of the pictures up on the screen of the busking performances, and I got a chance to take my picture with every one of the guys in the band. It was a fun day because you're standing on a street corner 5 feet away from these guys watching them play, and it was a lot of fun. Now here's an autograph set list. This was from Hamilton Place in 2005. I mentioned in one of my videos, and I don't remember which, that after I'd started dating my wife, well, girlfriend, now wife, I had taken her to one of the Blue Rodeo Stratford shows, and I got one of the set lists from the band, or from the sound guy after the show, and we went backstage and got it signed. Hell of a early date, I would say, but I thought to myself, damn, that's a great souvenir. So the next show I went to, I did the same thing for myself. So, yeah. Nice thing about this show as well is when we were waiting backstage, there's a guy standing in the corner, and I'm like, that guy looks familiar. Canadians will know Ron McLean from Hockey Night in Canada. So I went over and started talking to Ron McLean because he's a huge Blue Rodeo fan, and we got talking about music, and I throw up a picture here of my wife and I with Ron McLean. Another item that I've got here, this is a press photo from the band. This was from, I believe, the Nowhere to Hear album release. This is signed by everybody. What I like about it is it's an autograph. It's got an autograph from James Gray, who passed away a number of years ago. So obviously his autographs are a little harder to come by these days. But yeah, this is Blue Rodeo from the, I think I want to say about 1995 or so. So I've shown these before. This is my copy of Days in Between, signed by the band, still in its shrink wrap. I hate how it looks in the shrink wrap, but I can't bring myself to break the shrink on it after 22 years. I bought this at the merch table at one of the shows. And then I also have the follow-up album, Are You Ready?, which I also bought at the merch table and it's signed by the band and still in the shrink because for the same reason I can't bring myself to open it. So another thing I've got, I had a pretty substantial collection of photographs that I thought were great that I had taken, and I actually made them into a coffee table book, and I gave it to Bob, and he got all his buddies in the band to sign it. I'm particularly fond of this picture. This is a candid photo I took of Jim and Greg during that busking on the street corner day. They were just standing there chatting, and I grabbed this picture, and then was fortunate enough that they could both sign it. Basil signed his photograph, and Glenn signed his. And then this is a picture I took of my pal Bob in his guitar shop with a guitar that I helped him build. That's his player guitar to this day. So we both love that picture, and he signed it for me. Well, that's it for me today, folks. I hope that wasn't too long. For those of you that requested this video, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you saw some cool stuff. Got any questions, certainly drop them in the comments and I will answer them. Thank you for watching, everybody. Catch you on the flip side. Bye.